YouTube, how are you guys doing? In this video what I'm going to do is give you a comparison of the iPad versus the iPhone 4. Had a lot of requests and a lot of you were asking in the live stream as to which one I think you should go out and get. And by the way, this video is not, going to me be giving you advice which one to get. That is pretty much for you guys to decide. I'm just going to go with the hardware and tell you which one sort of beats in terms of, the hardware, the components inside these devices. But ultimately the choice is in your hands which one is going to be better for you in terms of how effective the software is. I'm just going to go with the hardware and give you my thoughts on it. So round one is design, and I'm going to go with the iPhone 4 first, simply because this is the first time Apple has implemented such a design. It's made of glass and sort of metal around the edges, and it's using Gorilla Glass, which is sort of new to Apple, and this glass is meant to be quite strong. It's kind of silly because a lot of websites out there tested out this glass and dropped it 5 times and expected it not to smash. They dropped it once, didn't smash, didn't drop, dropped it twice, didn't smash, and they kept on dropping until it smashed. Obviously it's going to smash at one point, and most of the people that I know, I don't know about yourself, do have a case on this, and I'm still in the search for a spec or some sort of solid case for this. I've got the Zag on it at the moment, but as soon as there's iPhone 4 cases available, I'm going to put one on. And the chances are, if you've got a case on it, it's not going to smash ever, pretty much. Well, it might, depending on what type of case you've got. But if you've got a spec hard shell case or spec candy shell with the in case, the likelihood is when you drop it, it's not going to smash, at least in the first 10, 15 or 20 goes. But people think this is some sort of ultimate military grade material that they're using. It's not. It's good, or it's effective to one point. When you cross that line, obviously it's going to smash. And there's a video on YouTube where a guy actually puts a sniper bullet through it, and surprisingly the bullet goes through it, but the rest of the glass doesn't smash. Well, it smashes up to maybe about halfway, but the rest is quite fine. And yeah, obviously if you're going to put bullets into it and run a tank over it, yes, it's not going to be usable. But I thought it was quite impressive. A sniper bullet smashed maybe the majority of the glass, but didn't smash all of it, which was quite surprising. The iPad, the design of the iPad is pretty much Apple standard. By this I mean they're going with the whole aluminium look to it, and it's quite basic. So I would give this round simply to the iPhone 4, simply because it's a bit new. It's not Apple-like. This is the first time they've sort of done this whole new design. So I would give the iPhone 4 the heads up for this design round. Round 2, display. The iPhone 4 has a 3.5 inch Retina display screen, and the iPad has a 9.7 inch screen. Now, in terms of the quality, if you have a website open up in the iPhone 4 and if you have the same website open up in the iPad, in terms of text quality, both will be exactly the same, even although this is a Retina display. I don't find the difference between the text quality. However, obviously because the iPad is bigger, it's much easier to consume media, if that's the right term. So I would really give the iPad an upper hand on this one, simply because of size. Size does indeed matter when it comes to screen size and generally everything else. So yeah, the iPad has, in my opinion, a better display option. Round 3 is processors. Now both have the exact same processors, the custom A4 1GHz processor chips in both of these devices. Both are made obviously by Apple themselves, and that's a good thing, simply because it's all made in-house. Apple are working not only in the software but the hardware as well, so they know what they're doing. Teams, the engineering teams working together, and it makes a better combination when it comes to hardware and software. And for this reason, this is a tie. My verdict is a tie, simply because the processors are exactly the same. Round 4, RAM. Now this is the part where I have a problem with. The iPhone 4 has 512 megabytes of RAM, and the iPad has a 256 megabytes of RAM. Now that is a bit insane if you ask me. The iPad should have had 512 or more than the iPhone 4, simply because it's a bigger device, and you'd be using much more graphic intense applications, games and stuff. And iMovie 4 was released for the iPhone 4. It doesn't work on the iPad, which is a shame, because I would have liked to edit stuff on the iPad, even although it doesn't have a camera. I'll get onto that in a bit, but it's a shame that the iPad has a lower memory capacity. What do you guys think about that? You know, had the RAM been of more, it would have been good with developers. They would have more RAM to work with. Would have been smoother. So this round goes to the iPhone 4. Round 5, storage. The iPhone 4 has got two options, 16GB or 32GB. The iPad, on the other hand, has 16, 32 and 64. And that is a disappointing thing. I, wanted more. I would have ideally liked to have more storage on the iPad simply because it's bigger. I tend to find that I use much more memory on the iPad because the apps are bigger. Those of you who haven't downloaded the Bruce Lee game, highly recommend it for 59p. Such a stunning game, quality is great, and obviously because of that, the size is great, bigger than what it is on the iPhone. I borrowed a friend's iPad the other day, the 3G one. I installed Copilot on it and it was 1.75GB. So ideally I would have liked to have the iPad start from maybe 32 and then go all the way up to 128. And that is a bit of a shame because you'd expect, because it's a bigger screen, you're going to be doing much more on it, essentially, because it's, big and so on. So I would have liked to have more space on it. So for that reason, this is a smartphone. 16 and 32, to be honest, are perfect. So I would give this round to the iPhone 4. Round 6, last but not least, is camera. We all know the iPad doesn't have a camera, whereas on the other hand the iPhone 4 does. It's got two cameras. The one in the back is a 5MP 720p HD camera, and on the front is a VGA camera for your FaceTime calls, and you can use it without FaceTime, it doesn't really matter. But on the back is a much more quality camera. And on the other hand, the iPad has zero. I would have liked to have at least one camera on the iPad, maybe a front facing one, so you could do FaceTime, and it'd be good to maybe have, because I noticed that my mum uses the iPad most of the time, and it would have been good if there was a camera at the front. Skype calls ideal, and for that reason and that reason only, for the obvious reason, this round goes to the iPhone 4 again. And if you didn't already notice, the iPhone 4, yes, did indeed win the race. But here's the thing, just because it won this race, I'm not going to say the iPhone 4 is better, you should go out and get this and not get the iPad. Hell no. It's a bit like comparing apples and oranges, to be honest. The iPhone 4 goes with me everywhere I go, for one reason and one reason only. It's a mobile phone. A mobile phone, irrespective of what shape, form, company, brand it is, it goes with me. On the other hand, the iPad, you'll be surprised as to how good this thing actually is. It does a lot of things that the iPhone can't do. Photo frame, it's absolutely fantastic. The gaming experience, if you haven't tried the Bruce Lee game, the Pinball HD, because of its size, it's great. And the applications like eBay, because it's quite big, you've got more options, and it's much you're sitting on the couch, and you can go through your emails. You don't have to type on a small screen. Emails, when I do get emails on my iPhone, I just usually wait or get my iPad out and sit on the couch and type it out, because of the keyboard. The Financial Times app consumption of media is much better than it is actually on paper or traditionally. Where's the Financial Times application? Here it is here. And it's much more of a seamless or smoother experience. This application is fantastic, and it's going to be a shame when they start charging for it in August or September or whenever they are. The Pulse application on this is phenomenal, which I've done a video review on. It's basically a collection of all your websites and all the websites that you follow, all under one application. So all you have to do is click on the application, all your 7 or 15 RSS feeds will load up in a very good UI, and you can go in through and check your stories for the day. So it's the decision ultimately lies with you, which one is going to be beneficial to you. So this video is not to say because that iPhone 4 won, go and get that. Hell no. I hope this video has given you some insight as to what you can expect from hardware wise, but software wise, which one is going to be beneficial to you. If you currently have a phone you're happy with, go with the iPad, give it a try. If you're in the market for an iPhone, if you want to have a device with you all the time, wherever you go, although both are mobile products, the chances are the iPhone is going to be with you more than the iPad is. And if you're a blogger, you've got a camera here as well, so you don't need to carry a flip and a mobile phone. You've got your iPhone here, it's got two cameras on it, and also sort of going to be killing two birds with one stone. But that was my video, that was my sort of race. Remember, you can join me on iGlassRegion.com, twitter.com/iSixGlassRegion, and it'd be really cool if you can hit the subscribe button up there. If not, it is not an issue, not a problem, and I'll see you in my next video. Cheers!